Let's do this!
Hi, I'm Jacob.
I'm Tyler.
And we are Card Collectors. So today we are going to be reviewing Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap was on the N64.
Right. It was almost on the 64 disc drive, but
thank God it wasn't, right?
very poor sales to the tune of like 12 to 15,000 or some other number I'm making up in my head deterred them from
they were just like,
further development.
If we want this to be something, we need to release on the actual N64.
Which was a good choice.
It really was. So let's dive into the game with you.
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap was developed by HAL Laboratories and Pax Softnica and published by Nintendo. It was released in March of 1999 in Japan and June of that same year in North America.
So first impressions when looking at Pokemon Snap, it looks like exactly what you would expect. There's Pokemon, it looks like a Pokeball in the background, which actually, if you look closer, is a camera, which is a cool little subtle thing they did there with the cover art. And there's not really a whole lot to say. I mean, it's exactly what one would anticipate when hearing about a Pokemon picture-taking game.
This game is a first-person rail shooter game, but of course you're taking photos and not using weapons. You take control of Todd Snap, who's a young photographer who's been hired by Professor Oak to go around an island and take photos of Pokemon for research. After every course, Professor Oak can critique your photos that you took based off of size, pose, technique, and if there are multiple Pokemon in the shot. And there's also a special field where, depending on what the Pokemon's doing at the time, you can get extra bonus points. One thing that was kind of unique to Pokemon Snap is you could take the cartridge to a kiosk at a Blockbuster, and you can download the photos and put them off onto a sticker, which was pretty neat at the time.
Pokemon Snap's graphics are solid but not overwhelming. The Pokemon look identical to the Pokemon in Pokemon Stadium and Hey You Pikachu, which is nice to see from a consistency aspect. Even though the graphics aren't amazing, it doesn't take away from the enjoyability of the game.
The audio for Pokemon Snap makes sense for what the game is. You're on this island going through each individual courses which has different layouts. For instance, there's a river, there's a cave. The river is nice, happy-go-lucky, and you can see all the Pokemon in the natural habitat. The cave has almost like a creepy sense to it. So all the music, while it's not super memorable, you don't get it stuck in your head and you're not like humming it to yourself later on. But it makes sense for the levels, and I don't think they could have done it any better.
As you progress through the game, you can get items such as apples, pester balls, the Pokeflute, and the Dash Engine. Apples can be used to lure Pokemon into more attractive photos. Pester balls can be used to draw Pokemon out of bushes, logs, and water. The Pokeflute can be played to make certain Pokemon dance for higher scoring photos. And then the Dash Engine is an upgrade to the 01 rail vehicle, which allows you to move faster. This is really handy when you're on a level and you want to speed forward looking for one specific Pokemon.
The control for this game makes absolute sense. You use the joystick to move your crosshairs around so you can navigate the scene and see where the Pokemon are. You can also use the left and right C buttons to move 90 degrees in either direction. To take a photo, you press down the Z button to focus in on the camera, and press A to complete the shot. When you're not pressing Z, you can press A to throw an apple, B to throw a pester ball, and to use the Pokeflute, all you have to do is press the down C button. You can cycle in between 4 different songs, they all have the same effect on the Pokemon, and to cancel, you press B or A. Like Tyler mentioned about the Dash Engine, all you need to do is press the R button to use it.
Pokemon Snap received mixed reviews from critics. This is partially due to disappointment that a Pokemon picture-taking game came to home console before an open-world adventure game. Another reason cited was its poor replay value because of limited Pokemon and courses. Despite this, the game was described as innovative and addictive, selling 1.5 million copies in its first year of retail availability, while also becoming a popular rental at stores.
While researching into Pokemon Snap, we found out some neat little extra stuff. Like, originally this game wasn't going to be a Pokemon game, and you actually just going to be a simple picture-taking game. but Nintendo didn't feel like it was going to sell well, so they were just like, yo, Pokemon. So it was definitely a great move on their part.
Similar to how Diddy Kong Racing was going to just be a generic racer until they were like, hey, let's put in some more well-known characters to help sell this game.
Yeah, so it's definitely a great idea.
Also, another thing that was interesting was the fact that there are 63 Pokemon in the game. However, on the pre-release screenshots, Ekans can be seen, which has led many people to believe that there were actually meant to be 64 Pokemon in the game, which kind of makes sense.
Would make sense.
They went a little 64 crazy.
A little bit, other than Clay Fighter. True. But anyways, but overall, I absolutely love this game, and I know Tyler really likes this game. So
yeah, we both play it through it at least a couple times a year.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
We play it a lot. It's something we both really enjoy.
One of the things that was kind of most disappointing about it is the lack of Pokemon. There was 151 Pokemon back then, and they only showed 63 Pokemon.
And there may have even been Togepi that had been sprinkled into the anime. So the point, Jacob,
point being is that there's not enough Pokemon to kind of keep your interest. Like Tyler mentioned, there isn't much replay value, even though we play a lot.
For certain people.
For certain people, there's not a lot of replay value because it's just the same thing over and over again. If they had more Pokemon, maybe there would have been a lot more interesting things that you could have done.
Which leads us to wishing that they would make a sequel to Pokemon Snap, whether it be on the 3DS or the Wii U or both. One that has a lot more Pokemon. It doesn't have to have every single Pokemon.
Right, because I think it's up over 700 now.
Yeah, like 750 something. I don't know,
it's
but
just ridiculous.
like if it had
but just
300 Pokemon.
300 Pokemon. That's beautiful.
And like, let's say you could start in Kanto and you explore through Kanto, and then you unlock Johto, then you unlock something like that, so that
navigate to different like islands,
right?
Something just
so that it's still Pokemon Snap, but it's also kind of following along with the traditional Pokemon games. And I feel like there would definitely be a demand for a Pokemon Snap sequel. I think it would sell pretty well.
I think on the 3DS and the Wii U, you can use the motion control. I'm surprised that Nintendo hasn't gone all nuts over it yet.
It's a perfect concept to be released, especially considering the limited library for it. Yeah. And you could even do a Todd Snap amiibo.
You could.
I'm just saying. You love those amiibos. But anyways, thank you for watching. Yep. I want to hear your thoughts on a Pokemon Snap U or Pokemon Snap 3DS game and what you think about that idea.
I know it's been floating around for a long time. It needs to happen. That's the issue.
Yeah. So thank you for watching.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Jacob.
And we are
Card Collectors.
Bye.
Bye.